It is currently 109.
Copenhagen, Denmark. So I'm just walking down the street here. I came across like a Mexican themed restaurant. This is the Border Burgers and Burgers versus burritos. I don't particularly care to have any food right now because I've already eaten, but I saw something familiar and I'm gonna draw your attention to it. Check it out.
Trump saying he was nominated for the Peace Prize a couple of years ago. He was just getting...
There I was in Sweden, and I had a question for this tour guide, and she politely answered my question.
Yeah.
In the last display over here,
Yeah.
I can't see it, but is that a number? Could you read that number to me, please?
The 1934 and 109.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the number of the nominee. So they put a number. So that's nominee number 109. That's an interesting.
Like with all of my
nomination.
stories, guys, I didn't plan that. That just happened, serendipitously. Here I am in Dublin, Ireland, having my very first Guinness, a burger, and some French fries. This was my very first meal in Dublin. And the bill, or my tab number, when I received my receipt, well, it had those familiar numbers on it. There I was in Kumasi, Ghana, and we pulled up to a light. We were waiting for the traffic to move, and there it was on the license plate of the car in front of us. So imagine you're reading a book about birds, and the specific bird you're reading about just happens to land on your hand while you're reading a book about that bird. During a recent trip to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, where I had this photo of myself taken, I spoke with the woman behind the counter, and she told me that she liked my Basquiat pen. After she told me that she liked my Basquiat pen, I told her the story about how at 11:09 p.m., while watching a Basquiat documentary, I saw a painting in which Basquiat wrote 109, and she told me that the hair on her, arms, or the goosebumps had come, and she was just, surprised by that story. That's when she relaxed and told me her story about 444. So, yeah, she said that her late husband had, on his deathbed, called the numbers 444, and she thought it was very strange that after he passed, she kept seeing the numbers 444, and she thought her mind was muddled, with grief. But it just kept happening, and she thought she was going crazy. So when I told her that I kept seeing 10-9, then she felt at ease and comfortable with herself and, with life and the universe. So it was quite an interesting day, to say the least. This is kind of a sad story. I was living in the country of Oman, and on the day on which Nipsey Hussle was murdered, I saw those familiar numbers, 109. So that was a sign. And 7 days later, I looked into the sky and I saw a crucifix. And I thought that was a sign. And then another 7 days later, I was watching videos about Nipsey Hussle's murder when I saw his body being carried out on a gurney, and I noticed something. Nipsey was still wearing a sock on his left foot. And I thought that was a sign because 7 days before, I had taken a photo of myself wearing a sock on my right foot. Perhaps you're saying, big whoop, what's the big deal? That's just a coincidence. Well, check this out. Say you go to the supermarket with your dog, and your dog has a very peculiar characteristic, and you happen to find or you run into someone who has a dog that has a similar characteristic but opposite, like in this photo.